Good evening, people. What is up? I know it's pretty late, but I got bored laying in bed and missed my peoples on here. So I thought I'd come on and we could do a little late night chat, do a little bit of shits and giggles, talk about current events, current stories, or whatever. But first, I do want to say that I had heard about the Sean Norman situation, and there for a minute I was skeptical about it because everybody knows how Sean Norman is. He could be crazy sometimes. But I did get verification that Sean Norman passed away. And if you give me just a second, I will share my screen and show you what I had found. Give me just a second, people. And let's pull this up. Wrong one. Sorry. Give me a second here, guys. All right. Oops. Well, what happened to it? I just had it here. Well, let's do it this way. All right. Well, that's not the one I want, guys, but give me a second and I will find it because I had it here just a second ago. No. Well, we'll just do it this way. Let's see here. I've got it here, guys. Give me just a second. I don't know what happened to it in my or in my emails, but can't do it that way either. Give me a second, guys. Try to figure out what happened here. I know I got it here because I had it in my email. I hope I didn't erase it. There it is. All right. All right. I was happened to look around Google to see if I find anything on Sean Norman's passing, and I came across this about an hour or two ago. Sean Harmon, Cambridge City, Indiana native, has passed away. And according to this, Sean Harmon, a native of Cambridge City, Indiana, has passed away. He lived in Louisville, Kentucky before his demise. The circumstances surrounding his death have not been made known to the public. Louisville is the most populous city. Let's see. I see. Well, the family has been notified of his death, and I can just tell you that, and arrangements have not been made yet. So it is confirmed that Sean Harmon has passed away. Even though it was a crazy guy, I didn't dislike the guy. You know, he had demons, and everybody knows that. And I pray for people to have demons in the circumstances that he did. But then again, you know, God has a plan for everybody. And it was his time. And hope he's in peace now. He's up there with his dad. So does everybody say a silent prayer for Sean Harmon and his family? But, you know, it's a hard thing to swallow, but that's part of life, guys. Another thing is that I want to talk about, there's some things that, well, actually, about a couple months ago, Mark got a strange phone call from a female claiming that she was a Uber driver out of Carroll County. And I think we brought this up once before, and she had stated that she had drove Garrett Kurtz to a trailer right there off old State Road 25, right by the Freedom Bridge, and claimed that there was tunnels. Well, me and Randy got the deep diving into this tunnel hearsay, rumor, whatever you want to call it, out of Delphi. So we started pulling maps every which direction you can think of, and we could not find anything on tunnels. And then I just happened to come across 2 or 3 creators who did a live concerning this, what they call the interurban tunnel that's supposedly underneath the Monon High Bridge. Well, I'm here to tell you guys, no such thing. I contacted a gentleman by the name of Mark Allen Smith out of Delphi. He is the historian out of Carroll County, and he also runs the Historic Museum out of Carroll County. So I contacted him today and asked him about it and told him about the one article in the paper about it. And he said, let me tell you something. I've been doing this job for a very long time. There has never, ever been a tunnel of any sorts underneath the Monon High Bridge. He said, now, back in the day, there used to be underpasses under the railroad crossings all through Delphi, trails, underpasses where cars can go through and things like that. But there has never, ever been a tunnel underneath the Monon High Bridge or in the trail system. And I mentioned to him about supposedly Franklin D. Roosevelt supposedly visited this site, and he said, he started laughing, and he said, they're a little far-fetched. You know how the media works. They'll twist things to try to get attention to a certain area or a certain subject. So I wanted to make that perfectly clear. I spoke with his name, and I'll give his name one more time. Mark Allen Smith, born December 7th, 1948. And if anybody wants to contact him themselves, I can give you his email, or I can give you the phone number to the Carroll County Historical Museum, and you can speak with him for yourself. I just wanted to clarify that with people. So there is no tunnel that runs underneath the Monon High Bridge. Anybody want to come up here and join me? Got plenty of room up here, guys. Let me know if anybody wants to chat. Come on up here. I'll send a link out if anybody wants it. Hey, Marv. Haven't you taken your Geritol yet? See, there's a lot of things that a lot of people don't understand about it when it comes to me. I like the Sean Harmon situation. We went through this situation with information before, even though we're pretty much sure that it's accurate when it came to like Libby and Abby's autopsy or causes of death and that nature. But me and Marv had agreed from now on, we will not put information out on anybody or any situation without have solid proof and facts. And that's what I did, is I went online to check to see if there's any notification of Sean Harmon's death, and yes, there was. So I had to put it up there to show that there was proof that he had actually passed away. And like I said before, with the situation with the other creators talking about this urban tunnel that's supposed to be underneath the Monon High Bridge, Once again, I did my deep diving before I put any information out there, and I got the information I needed today from Mr. Mark Allen Smith from the Carroll County Historical Society Museum, and clarified that there is no tunnels that run in that area, period. No tunnels at all. So anybody wants to come up, D, anybody, Marv, get up here. What's up, Justin? Justice. Hey, Deb. Hey, Starla. Molly. Oh, there's support with stuff. What's up, girlfriend? Rebecca. Who else we got in here? Journey. Live at 40. Aussie Easty. Mandy Ray. And let's see, we got Don in here. So how's everybody doing tonight? Where do you want me to send a link to, Marv? I'll send it to your messenger. Anybody else want to come up? Anybody need the link? Marv, I sent it to your messenger. Nope, Marv can't stay away. She's got to make sure her partner's staying in line. That's how it works. It's her channel, but I'm a partner. But she created the channel, so she's the boss. Hey, sweet Jules. Nice to see you. Marv's like my baby sister. She's always got to look out for her big brother, make sure that you stand in line and not getting in any trouble, because y'all know how I can be sometimes. You piss in my Wheaties, I'm going to piss right back in yours. But I've been trying to behave here lately, so. Actually, Aaron, I don't watch Joe Lewis because he's had too much heat on him on the last few months, so I try to stay away from that as much as possible. I don't want to get dragged down in the situation that he's in, so I stay away. Sorry, I'm smoking a cigarette, guys. I wish I could smoke something else, but Marv won't let me do it live, so. I want some people to speak up, talk to me. Come on, people, let's go. It's only midnight or 12:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hey, here she is. There's Marv. Hey, what is up?
How's it going?
Hey, I thought, man, I was getting bored, girl, so I had to get on here. I had to do one of the.
Good.
I had to do a sleuth thing. Let's do an insomniac type shit.
I just had a Long Island iced tea that is kicking my butt.
I bet. Hey, Daisy. And they got D over there making sandwiches for her son, and he's grown.
It's been super hot here, and I've been dying.
It only got to like 79 degrees here today. Rain most of the day.
It was like 95 to 100 here today with the heat index.
Trust and Justin, I think KK went to Peru High School.
So, hey, good work on talking to that historian today and getting the information on the tunnels.
Yeah, I was. Remember when we talked about that a couple months ago at that phone call you got? And you know how I am. When I get information like that, I'm going right at it and looking for whatever I can. And then I saw it on the other couple creators' channel. And it was just one single article that I had already seen before. But at that time, a lot of things started rushing for us, like Karina, you know, the floor fire type stuff, the Delphi. And I just put it to the wayside, didn't think nothing of it. Then when I saw this last night, I was like, man, I'm going to pick back up on that. So I'm going to call and talk to Mark. And that's exactly what I did. So.
Well, that explains why we couldn't find any information on the tunnels.
Exactly. So.
Because there are none.
There is none.
So.
You guys having fun up there?
Oh my God, yes. So today we got to go to the Intrepid, the USS Intrepid.
Yeah, I saw that.
And my husband's dad served on that ship.
Did you ride on one of the helicopters? Did I see you in a helicopter earlier today?
No. But we did go to the top of the rock,
Oh,
which
okay.
is an observatory deck, and I got some awesome photos from there.
Right. Good. Yeah.
So
True crime with Shannon ended up waking up about 5 till 8 and called me right after I talked to you. She said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I had a migraine. I laid down and set my alarm and slept right through it." She said, "I'm still not feeling well." I said, "We'll just reschedule it for tomorrow at 7 p.m. and we'll do the same thing for Thursday."
yeah, that happens when you got those migraines.
Right. So, I mean, it kind of upset me for a minute because I couldn't get a hold of her. I was like, man, I hope she didn't back out and just didn't want to tell me. And then I just had to be patient and see if she got back with me, and she ended up getting back with me. So,
Yeah, well, I hope she gets some rest and get rid of that migraine, because I know how those are. Those suck.
right. So what else is going on your end?
Honey, I'm averaging between 17,000 and 20,000 steps a day.
That's a good thing, though, isn't it?
Oh, whew. But with the heat, it's been a nightmare. The heat advisory is finally over. Tonight is a little bit cooler, but having a blast with the kids. I mean, we're getting to see so much stuff, and it's just amazing.
You seen any trouble up there yet?
No, I mean, there's always fire trucks and police cars, and you go down to Times Square, there's police there all day long, all night long.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
You know,
sure.
but
I've never been to New York. I've been to Washington, D.C. I've been to Maryland. I've been to Virginia, but I've never actually been up to New York. The furthest we went East Coast was Baltimore, Maryland. So
well, this is the first day we ventured on the other side of the island. We've been mainly on this side by Times Square within a few miles, and then today when we went to the USS Intrepid, that's more
Right.
closer to the World Trade Center. But Friday we're going to be down in that area all day long.
Who is that? I can't read her name, but it says, "Are you going to the Statue of Liberty?"
Yeah, we're going to go see all of that on Friday.
OCEC, is that how you pronounce it? OCEC? She just asked if you were going to the Statue of Liberty. So
I've been trying to keep up on news, and haven't got to watch a whole lot of YouTube videos or anything like that, but you know, I put out Becky's posts every day, and
yeah.
And when we're taking breaks here in the hotel because of the heat, you know, we usually go out in the mornings, and then in the afternoons here we're in for a few hours because it's just so hot. And then we venture out again in late afternoon into the evening.
Right. Lollipop. Yeah, we're up late. We're doing a sleuth. Insomniacs.
So what's going on? Have I missed anything besides Sean Harmon's passing?
No, not really. And a couple other creators who did something about that tunnel situation. And when I saw that, I had to jump all over it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to be rude because I do like, I mean, I might as well just say, because everybody's probably already saw the videos, Curly JK, he's a good kid, you know.
Yep.
And I don't know about this barn burner guy whatsoever. He put a little thing out about it too. And I was like, man, I'm going to have to say something because I've already been through this and I just didn't have the information to collaborate what I thought was true. So I made that phone call today, and sure enough, I was right. Because like I said, go ahead.
Well, like I said, we couldn't find any information on it, and we searched.
Yeah, I pulled maps. I pulled the old railroad maps, everything, and I couldn't find anything. So that's why I made that.
The only thing that I found is that where Ron Logan lives and the Mears, they have one of those sunken in barns down below where there's feed and stuff for the animals, I think, that they kept, but no tunnels that I heard of.
Right. Well, I also know that, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but in Carroll County, there was a lot of mining going on back in the day.
Right.
And the mines are still there, but they've got them shut down, filled in, and things like that. I think the closest one is by the museum, which is not really too far from Ron Logan's property. So,
yeah,
I know a lot of people were going to get that confused with the mines and the tunnels and everything. Yes, mines turn into tunnels, but not what people were thinking. So, and people got to realize also they had the mining because of the railroad. The railroad would haul away coal, whatever minerals they were getting out of those mines. That's what the railroads and the mines were for. So
no other news updates?
No, nothing
so far
here.
this week?
Nope, not at all.
I did share a floor fire video that I saw tonight.
Yeah.
That was pretty darn good on the Facebook group page.
Yeah.
You know, as I do watch videos and find articles and stuff, or if I see articles that another group found, I'll share them and make sure that I actually share from the group page to give them credit.
Right.
Otherwise, if I find them, I just put the link for them on there. But just things that I think people would be interested in. And I think it was yesterday that I shared a bunch of pictures of Delphi. Some of those were my pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those were pictures from friends.
I did want to tell you that we did get a document concerning the floor fires. Remember, we've been doing the Josh Ayers deposition, right?
Yes.
Remember when the attorney specifically asked him if he had ever been sued for anything?
Yeah.
And he said no.
Right.
Complete lie. Somebody sent me a document where Galen had sued one of the businesses after the fire.
Oh.
Yeah. I got the document in our email. So.
Okay, so she sued them, but did it actually go all the way through the courts?
I didn't really get into reading the whole thing, but I'm just saying that he lied and said he'd never been sued before, which he has. So
because it was in progress, or still is in progress.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, guys. Me and True Crime with Shannon will be on tomorrow to cover most of the rest of Josh Ayers' deposition.
And we got tons more documents to share with everybody.
Oh yeah.
I can't keep track of them all.
Haunted parlor. I have my left arm. I have severe nerve damage to the right side of my body because I've got a cervical spine injury that I had surgery on back in 2018. It didn't correct the nerve damage, so it's permanent. So I can still use my limbs and everything, but my right side is my dominant side, and I have all kinds of problems with it all the time. So it's no big deal. I'm alive. It's all that matters. And bringing you guys good news and information that you guys might want to know.
So, okay, I know that I did some videos on the Gabby Petito case, and I heard that, I read that her family is suing Moab Police Department.
Yes, for like $50 million or something.
Yeah, because they didn't do anything about. So the way I take it is, it's one of two things. Either they didn't arrest Brian for domestic abuse, or they didn't arrest Gabby because they said she was the instigator. If they had arrested her, she'd probably still be alive today.
Right. I know here in the state of Indiana, they changed the law a few years back. I mean, nothing against women, because women do the same thing as men. They abuse men just as well as men do women. But Indiana got to the point where they were getting tired of just the men going to jail for domestic situations. Now they're taking both parties to jail. Mm-hmm. And the reasoning that was explained to me is because, no offense to women, I love my women, but they believe that a lot of women cry wolf when it comes to men. They don't get their way with their men, or whatever the circumstances might be. They make false accusations, false charges filed against them for domestic battery or whatever the circumstances might be, and that's why they changed the law here.
Yeah.
So
to answer truth justice question that you have up on the screen, no, she did not drive them to the Monon Bridge. She drove Garrett Kurtz after all this happened with the girl's murder.
And that's when I brought up the fact that I had found his father had an address in Delphi right there off Old State Road 5 at the time. And everybody said, well, he's living in Lafayette, but he still had an address registered in his name in February of 2017. Right there, 10-minute walk from the Monon High Bridge. All right, Haunted Parlor. Here's my left arm. Can you see it now?
Well, as you move, half your body goes out because of your background. So
right. What's that lollipop? I think who? Moab. Who's Moab?
Moab is the Moab Police Department. That's the area.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they handled it the best they could, but you know, they bent the rules when normally they don't. And if they had went ahead and arrested her because they saw her as the instigator, her parents more than likely probably would have flown down there to bail her out, and she probably would be alive today.
Starla's asking, why did the teacher stop geocaching after the murders? You're talking about Christopher Moore. He just up and dropped off the face of the earth, guys. And I have talked to numerous creators off of YouTube, and it's always been said that BG is going to be somebody that's not been talked about.
Right.
So just got to remember that. So, yeah, the Uber driver, I still can't believe we haven't heard back from her yet. I don't know what the situation with that was.
Well, and we could never verify our stories, so that's why we didn't give very much information out on it. So
the only thing I got out of that whole situation was actually finding out that Mark Kurtz had an address in Delphi at the time. That's the only thing I found out of that whole situation when it comes to the tunnels and things of that nature. So, you know, like I said, people know me well enough now that I deep dive and to get correct information. So, and I think I'm pretty good at it, and I'm going to keep at it. This is what I do. You know, when you're physically disabled, you can't do anything but sit at home all day long and nothing to do. So this is the best thing for me to do, keep my mind occupied and things of that nature. And plus you leaving me for a damn week, I got stuck doing all this by myself, which I'm having fun with it though.
I know you are. I knew you can handle it.
But we need to reprogram our brand. I don't know what happened to that.
I know. I'm not sure either. Well, you know what? They asked me to revalidate the Facebook page, and after I did that is when we lost everything. So I'm wondering if it had something to do with that, but it's easy enough to put everything back in there.
Yeah, Molly. She said, wait, Frank, were you saying about BG being someone no one has ever talked about? Yes, there's a possibility that BG could be somebody that no one's ever mentioned.
Right.
There's always that possibility. And I'm going to give a disclosure right now while I got Marv on the line here. Everything we say could be speculatory, it could be rumors, or it could be facts. One of the three. Now, if it's fact, we will show you facts, just like I did with the Sean Harmon thing, the thing with the tunnels. Just Pam, I talked to Jerry the day we had our last live, and she said she would keep us informed of what's going on as far as arrangements for Karina.
They're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah. So, Longshanks. I think everybody at Delphi has been talked about. Yeah, you're correct on that, but for some reason they're not they're not wanting to. This is just my opinion. I don't think they're trying to solve the case. Just my opinion. So the longer the case goes cold, the more money they get in grant money. They apply for the grants.
And they get the grant money for the pedophile project and all that stuff.
All that stuff.
I mean, I do think that they're working on it.
Yeah, I do too.
I think it's a little bit more complicated than all of us think, and that there's multiple players in it. I think that not only are they going to try to arrest the main person that actually committed the murders, but they're going to try to arrest everybody involved at one time so nobody slips away.
Right. Longshanks, I've messaged him a million times in a month, and he hasn't responded back to me, which I'm suspecting he's probably suspicious of me, and that's why he stopped talking to me. I know of one creator who's been talking to him, and this is coming straight from the horse's mouth. Detective Vito from ISP is not happy with that situation because he says that this creator is causing issues with the case.
Yeah.
And that's another reason I stopped reaching out to him to try to get him to talk, because once Vito said, I was told that by somebody that's been talking to Vito, I said, well, I'm done. I'm not going to contact him no more, because if people contacting him is screwing up the case, then why would I put myself in them shoes to screw up a case? You see what I'm saying?
Right. We don't want to mess anything up.
Right. Hey, Sleuth, nice to see you, buddy. Just came on here for a little powwow like you do in the middle of the night sometimes. I showed proof of Sean Harmon's death. It was on Google. I sent a copy of it to you in email, Sleuth, to let you see it. So, and back to Christopher Moore. He is still kind of fishy to me anyway. I mean, with the geocaching and everything that we presented, 6 months ago?
Yeah.
With him having Kelsey's passwords and Kelsey having his passwords. And it was kind of strange. And then...
Well, I don't know necessarily that she had his password, but somehow he got around that and gave her permission for his premium geocaches.
Right.
Whether he just sent her the message, the information through a message or whatever. So,
right.
Not sure how that works.
And then the situation where supposedly he was out on the creek that day, further down by Baum's Landing, doing some historical work with students.
Right.
And there was even students that verified he was there that day, but he's trying to claim he was giving a lecture at the college at the same time. Right. So kind of suspicious to me too, but how far can we take it? I mean, the man can't be found anywhere now unless you go up to the University of Indianapolis, which is 20-minute drive from my house.
Yeah, it's definitely weird.
No,
but if
Molly,
you think about it, there's so many different weird angles and rabbit holes to this case.
Right.
It's so hard to know which one is right, if you're on the right path or you're so far off that, that's why you throw every angle out there you can, because one of them's going to be right.
Right.
We just don't know which one it is.
Exactly. And what would really be upsetting is if all of us are wrong, period.
Yeah.
That would be just devastating to all of us creators if we were all wrong for any type of...
It would be devastating, but at the same time, I'd be okay with it, because then they caught him.
Exactly.
And there's going to be justice, no matter what, whether we were right or wrong. So I would be okay with that.
Let's see. I saw something that somebody said. Yeah, Sleuth, I feel the same way, man. I would love to be wrong about everything and the case is over.
Yeah.
And it just, the way I see things, it's like LE's intentionally leading people down the wrong holes. That's just the way I'm seeing it right now. Why they're doing that, I don't know. And I can't figure it out because I've never seen a complex case like this. You know,
I think it all has to do with them getting the evidence they need, and they don't want anybody to mess it up. You
hard to
know,
say. I
you get
mean,
one shot at this, one shot.
well, the way I'm looking at it now is at least they could do is do a presser real quick and say, hey, to the public, to the YouTube creators, wherever, we do not need your help anymore. We are where we need to be. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah,
Don't
instead of this leach information and blackout. Yeah, I agree.
and stringing people along. It's just wrong. I
Right.
understand there's things that they've got to protect the integrity of the case, but there are some things that it's not really important that could possibly help.
Yeah.
Release an additional 10, 15 seconds of the video, the audio, or something, And we've had a discussion about a certain individual who sat down with Kay. And when she had the interview with the FBI,
Yep.
and according to Kay, they showed her a picture that had his face half covered from his nose down, and commenced saying the picture they showed her was not the same picture they showed a bridge guy on the bridge. Two
Right.
different, totally different pictures. So,
Well, yeah, because when they asked her if she can identify him, she said absolutely not. Half of his face is covered.
right. And then it brought it back to me again, that picture from Brian Phillips while he was in jail.
Yes.
And I'm like, how did he know this? I said, I started putting two to two together. I said, now, Kay's saying his face was half covered from the nose down. Then you get this drawing with his face covered halfway down. And then I saw the flames around him. I'm sitting there going, hold on here. Is this guy trying to tell us something here? Could this be him telling us it's a fireman who's done the Florida fires and Delphi murders? Something. That's something. Right.
Or an arsonist, or, it could, anything.
A guy just doesn't draw stuff up like that because they had just released just a photo of him. And you couldn't tell if he had something over half his face in that photo.
Right.
Hold on a second here. I got something for Sleuth here. All right. I heard a rumor the other day the vehicle at the CPS building was a work vehicle common to that area. That's why they were only interested in the driver. Okay.
Interesting.
That is interesting, Sleuth. Interesting. Let's see what Molly has to say here.
Well, and there was workers working in that area, wasn't there?
Well, you had Brad Heath, the exterminator.
Right. But were there other workers, I wonder?
I'm not really sure. Honestly, I don't. Because the only person you really talk about it said they might have seen something was Brad Heath.
Right.
And I saw some in another chat somewhere. Was he the one that actually saw the vehicle parked at the CPS building? Because apparently he was working right by there. So, but I mean, I've been racking my brain since you left for New York, and I've basically been looking at four people.
Yeah.
I mean,
at least four.
At least four.
That's why we don't name a POIs, because there's too many.
Okay, Sloop comes back and says the other half of the rumor is that Brad Heath was the one that noticed it and said it was a competitor of his. All rumor as of now.
Oh, interesting.
So, but as far as, I mean, we've got the source has been talking with Max. You know Max.
Yeah.
Snowberger, whatever his name is. She's been trying to talk to him. She's been talking with Detective Vito. And this is where I'm getting the information from about this creator who's been contacting KK. If they're watching right now, I advise you stop talking to KK because it's not looking good right now, guys. So that's just my opinion. That's why I stopped reaching out to him, because I don't want to cause any issues with the case that he's involved in right now. So, And plus, I'm not a female. It seems like he rather talk to females more than anything. I've
Yeah,
noticed
he
that.
definitely goes more for the females.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can even post all the messages between me and him like a month ago, and you could tell that the dude was suspicious of me right off the bat. He was asking me,
Yeah.
"Well, how did you find my number and all this and that?" And I said, "Well, for me being in the military, I've got ways to get information that no other people can get. Playing that role,
Hmm.
trying to get him to speak to me." He opened up a little bit, but that's as far as he would go. When what am I supposed to do? I would message him for 4 or 5 days in a row and ask how he's doing, but he wouldn't respond. So that told me he either didn't want to talk to me no more, or he took the money that I put on his books to make other calls with.
Yeah.
So
Well, and the way I see it is, from what I'm told, Karina was the first to go missing
yeah,
in this long string of things.
yeah.
Well, they finally found her. They finally made an arrest. If she was truly the first, then, you know, dominoes are starting to fall, and people are starting to talk. So that means hopefully more people talk about Flora and more people talk about Delphi and what they know, and we can continue the dominoes to keep falling and things to happen.
Randy's on. He must be home. I talked to him earlier today, and he said he was coming home tonight.
Mm. Well, I'm glad
Ah,
his mom's doing good.
Lollipop. We know for a fact that Ashley Garth is in Rockville, Indiana, women's prison. She's got a court date in November to possibly have her conviction thrown out and get a new trial. As far as Garrett Kurtz, we have a source that used to live in Delphi, but she still lives in the area. She is very close friends with Garrett Kurtz's grandfather, and according to her, the grandfather said that Kurtz has been talking, and we're not sure if he's in Pendleton prison there in Pendleton, Indiana, or if he's locked up in jail. We don't know for sure where he's at. Ashley is in prison.
Yeah, definitely.
Or are you talking about Anthony Greeno, Lolly? He's still in the Carroll County Jail.
Yeah, because I looked the other day on the records and it still says he's there.
Yeah. Kind of weird to me, too, on that one. So,
Yeah, I'm not sure why he hasn't been transferred. The only thing I can think of is that if he would go to an actual prison or jail, he could get out sooner with good behavior. Maybe they're keeping him in the jail so that he's got to do full time. I don't know.
I've got two different opinions on that. Either he is in protective custody or they're keeping him there because he knows something. That's my opinion. Because you can't forget about the videos or the lives he did where they confiscated his phone because he was talking to somebody in contact with the Anthony Shots account.
Right.
So, yeah, Lollipop, sometimes, like Marion County in Indianapolis, if you got a year in jail or in prison, they'll just keep you in the jail all that time to make the money on you instead of the state making money on you going to prison. Because in the Marion County jail, they make $16 a day per inmate. That's what it was a years back.
I'm going to go outside. You're going to have to tell me if it's too loud.
Yeah.
So,
Let's see, modern crime in cars. Let's see what you got. Do you believe the case actually led to the Peeping Tom incident and the BG incident? Yes, honestly, I do. I do believe that. If the account was never created, I don't think we would ever be in the situation that we're in as far as the Peeping Tom and BG. I honestly don't think that Keegan Klein had anything to do with the murders. Maybe he sold the Anthony Shots account in the Dropbox, not knowing what people intended to do with it. That's how I'm seeing it right at this point in time. But then again, there's just some things that he did or supposedly did that's not adding up. So like the searches on how long DNA lasts on a body and things like that. So let's see, isn't he also for 2 years minus? He got 2 years, I believe, was what he got. Anthony Greeno, a little over 2 years. Yeah, I agree, D. If the Anthony Shots account wasn't created, I believe the girls would be alive today. Let's see, what else we got going on here? Damn, I've been on an hour already.
I think it might depend on the state. I'm not sure.
He got, a lot of people think it was over child support. He got busted. He got a probation violation for dirty drops, guys. That was the reason why he got arrested, because he was on probation for child support. What is this, just Pam? She's talking to you, Marv. Damn shame you can't even smoke in a room you pay $200 a night for, huh, Marv?
I know. I gotta come outside.
Molly, what happened to your doggy? I'm sorry I missed it. You guys are scrolling through here so fast I can't read everything. She disappeared on me. Looks like it's just us again, guys. I'm going to drop the link in the, let me see. Yep, there she is. There she is.
I hit the wrong button.
Let me put it in here. Hey, D, drop the link in here to see if anybody wants to come up on the panel.
There you go. Good God, the street sweeper's going down the road and sounds like a jet.
Let's see. Anybody else? Let's see. Yeah, I can't wait to get to some of that information. We got more on Flora.
Here, I'll give you a quick view. In the side of the road here. But 2 blocks down, all them lights, that's Times Square.
The link's in the chat box, anybody, if y'all want to come up on panel. Yeah, that's the one, StreamYard B. That's the one. That is the link. So what's everybody else doing too? I know it's late at night, but since we couldn't go live earlier today, I thought I'd jump on here and talk about Sean Harmon and this tunnel situation.
I'm glad you did, because then I got to come on.
Right.
But all right, everybody, I'm getting off of here. It's time for me to go to bed.
Good night.
Good night.
We'll be live
See
tomorrow
y'all later.
7. All right. Good night.
Bye.
Cindy, I covered this a little bit earlier. About 2 months ago, we got a call from a woman who claimed to be an Uber driver in Carroll County, and she had talked to Marv for quite a while. It was claiming that she had picked up Garrett Kurtz and took him to this trailer right there off Old State Road 25, which is a 10-minute walk from the Freedom Bridge to the Arrowhead to the trails, and started talking about tunnels and things of that nature. So I was like, well, let me check this out. So I pulled up every map I could find in Delphi when it came to the railroads, railroad tunnels, anything in that nature, and I couldn't come up with anything. I come up with that article that's being showed out on the other creators' channels. So I took it upon myself to call Carroll County, the Carroll County comment about it first, and they had nothing in archives of that nature when it comes to the tunnels. So my next step was to get a hold of Mark Allen Smith, which he's a Carroll County historian, and he also runs the Carroll County Historical Museum there in Delphi. So I called him today and was talking to him about it, and there is no truth to any tunnel running underneath the Monon High Bridge. He said now back in the day they had what they call underpass roads, trails and stuff underneath the railroad tracks and stuff of that nature, but never any tunnels in Delphi. And like I said, if anybody wants to speak to the gentleman, I'll give you his name, I'll give you his email, and the phone number where you can contact him at through the daytime. If you want that, just let me know, and you guys can confirm it yourself. And like I said before, and I'll say it again, I'll never come on here and talk about something that I can't verify. And that's why I came on this late to verify this, because it just came to my head when I saw a couple of creators doing a show about it. So, not trying to debunk anybody, but like me and Mark talked about, we had already been down this road a couple months ago, and it's been brought up again. So I thought, well, hell, let me pick up the trail on this and get this cleared up before it gets carried away and people start assuming that girls were taken into a tunnel and things of that nature. And it is absolutely not true. If you guys go back to the very beginning, where Sergeant Riley from ISP made it very clear that girls were killed where they were found. And that's what Sergeant Riley had said. The girls were killed where they were found. So we have to take that as factual if it's coming from LE. Cindy, there is no tunnel. There is no tunnel underneath the Monon High Bridge. And somebody's asking about a barn. I don't know much about the Mears property. Who is that? Just Pam? But I've heard about the rumors and speculations that Ron Logan had some type of basement under his barn that he had that people partied in and stuff like that. But I can't confirm or deny that, so I really don't know. I've never been inside any of his barns or in his home or anything. I've been on his property, yeah, but never inside of anything. Starla, I don't know what happened to Christopher Moore. He is just plain disappeared off the face of this earth ever since that case, the case started back in 2017. There are some news articles with him in it saying that like in 2018 was going to be the last year or last few days or whatever it could have been, that they were going to do any type of historical findings out there for his archaeology work. So, Frank, why were the two drawings and why was the second big press cryptic? Longshanks, I think the conference was so cryptic. I believe that they were directly talking to BG and the killers. That's why I believe it was so cryptic. And as far as the two drawings, I'm confused on that just as much as everybody else is, because you got to remember during the Megyn Kelly show with the family and Doug Carter on there, he clearly stated that no one ever saw BG. And then I started thinking back about what about the 16-year-old girl who was at the Freedom Bridge and said she saw somebody resembling BG. And then I started thinking about it more, and I'm thinking, well, when the Ron Logan search warrant came out, they gave you coordinates. Thank you, Sweet Jules. Appreciate it. Much appreciated. And I did more and more and more. Well, one of the coordinates at the very top of the beginning of the search warrant, if you put the coordinates into Google Earth, it shows up right where the girls' bodies were located. Now, the coordinates that are on that search warrant are the coordinates for Ron Logan's ping from his phone. That ping, his phone pinged between 7:58 p.m. and 10:15 p.m. on the 13th of February that year, in the general vicinity of where the girls' bodies were located. And then we end up getting the coordinates for another ping from his phone, which landed right there at the Freedom Bridge. Now, we did some research and we did a little live on it, and we did confirm that, yes, you can triangulate a cell phone ping as long as the GPS is turned on the phone. You can still do it with two cell towers, but they use a satellite to work alongside with it. It's the only way that you can get a GPS coordinates is if you use a satellite. So we know that his phone was at the Freedom Bridge, and they said the accuracy is within like 5 to 10 feet of where the ping was located. So within 5 to 10 feet where that ping was on the map that we showed on our live one time is where his phone was at. So could the 16-year-old girl have seen Ron Logan there at the Freedom Bridge? I can't answer that, but there's always a possibility, you know, because if you watch R&M, another creator, she did a complete timeline on Ron Logan, and she got every ping from the time he left his home and went to Lafayette to the aquarium and came back. According to her information or their information, Ron Logan didn't leave his property until 4 p.m. on the 13th of February 2017. So they got every ping, like I was saying. So it's kind of suspicious. I believe that Ron Logan, no, I don't believe he partaked in any type of murder or anything. I believe that he was set up to take the fall. Yes, I do believe that. I do believe that he was lured away from his house for unknown reasons he probably doesn't know. And then the pings of his phone showing up in the general vicinity of where the girls' bodies were found was an indication to me that he knew something was up and something wasn't right. So he went out there searching himself, and he possibly could have found the girls himself. And that's why he was panicking the next morning at 9 a.m., calling his cousin to make sure that he was going to cover his alibi. That's just my opinion. I just want to make sure everybody know. And it's just the way I feel about it. I mean, if he knew something or whatever he knew, he took to the grave with him. There was a reason why they focused on Ron Logan for so long. It's because of his phone and the locations of his phones and where it was pinging at. That's why they were so focused on him for so long. Yes, Pam, just Pam, and it almost worked. It sure did. They almost got that man put in prison for the rest of his life, which I don't think Ron Logan really cared because he was 77 years old at the time and he was basically coming toward the end of his life. That's how I see it. You know, and I just don't really think he cared anymore. He just didn't want to be bothered with the situation, you know, and who would blame you? Yeah, everybody's got some type of skeletons in their closet. He was a heavy drinker. Speculation that he was a woman abuser. We don't know that for facts because there's no court documents showing he has ever been arrested for domestic battery of any sort. It's just hearsay from ex-girlfriends, you know. But you have to take the information you get and you have to look at it in all different directions and determine, hey, is this true? Is this not true? Like I said, when I read that warrant and the girls were saying that he was abusing him, so I immediately ran a background check on it because if he was abusing somebody, he's been like this for years, more than likely he's been arrested for it. If he's been arrested for it, it's not showing up in the search records that I could use. Specifically, reasoning is because the case might have been too old and it might have just fell off his record. That's the way it is in the state of Indiana. After 7 years, a charge is supposed to automatically be removed from your record after 7 years. But since they changed the law now, they want to be able to make money on people to get that stuff taken off your record. So, Molly, yeah, I think my phone's been hacked too. I also honestly do believe that somebody's either going through our emails and hacking our emails or whatever, something's going on. Because I know quite a few people that's been into this case, they've been having issues with their phones. So, sorry guys. Mar's not here now, so my time. Appreciate the long shanks for the donations. And whoever else. Sorry, I can't keep up with you guys that quick. Boston, appreciate that. Sweet Jules, thank you. What's anybody want to talk about? Tell me what you guys want to talk about. It's open discussion. Look at who's hat. You talking about Boston? Who's hat? Oh yeah, BG still alive, Longshanks. I do believe that he's watching every channel or every creator's channel. I do believe that. If he's still alive, or he's watching the news or whatever he can get information from. It might be the reason why he hasn't been caught yet, because he's eluding, because he's watching everything. Olivia, I can't really say if he lives in Delphi. I'm almost certain that he lives in the surrounding area, because it's been many times over the last 5 years, whoever did this had to know the area very well to do what he did and get out of there as quickly as possible, like he did. Yes, Starla, I seen that Christopher Morey. I saw that he got divorced back in 2016. Oh, you better believe BG's watching if he's alive, guys. Best believe that, because if he is watching, it might be the way he's eluding everything. Cindy, you're talking about Nate Miller is the police officer that supposedly had an alibi for Pat Brown, and we did confirm he is not related to Ron Logan. No, it is not. He's not related to Ron Logan. Thanks, Just Pam. Much appreciated. Molly, I really don't care. If we could talk about TK's. Which friend are you talking about? I need to know which friend you're talking about. Are you talking about the one that's making contact with him in jail now, or are you talking about friend number one? Yes, Longshanks. We've got threats. We've got nasty messages and things of that nature. But you know what? To each his own. They have their own opinion, and that's the way they feel. That's the way they feel. They're not dragging me into this little game that goes on with YouTubers bashing each other. We just won't go down that road. We're all supposed to work together for one common cause, and it seems like a couple creators are just thinking that it's all about themselves, and it's not. You know, I wish we could just all get along, but for some reason, you know, I have never threatened anybody in my life on YouTube, and I don't care what other content creators say. I went back to the video a million times since all that instance took place and reviewed it 1,000 times, and not one time did I make a threat to any creator. These creators can say all they want, but they need to go back and review the actual video where I was on somebody's panel and review every word that was said. No threat was ever made to him out of my mouth toward him. Now, I might have said, you're lucky you don't live in the States, because I'm sure there's quite a few people who would like to reach out to you. Now, I didn't say I wanted to reach out to him. I just said, I'm sure there's quite a few people who would like to. Now, if you take that as a threat, that is your own problem, not mine. And I apologize if you feel like that. And I know there's people in my chat that watch the channels. You go back and tell them what I said, you know, because when Randy, we had a little fundraiser for Randy where he was able to go see his mother in Pennsylvania. Somebody was in our chat and brought up the fact that this creator donated a little bit of money to Randy so he could go see his mother in Pennsylvania, you know, and I thought, wow, that was pretty cool, this dude. You know, all the shit that we've been through for the last 4 or 5 months with the bickering and arguing and fighting back and forth between creators. I thought, well, he's coming around, you know, he's starting to understand, you know, this is not the way things work on YouTube. We should all be working together. And I sent back a message to the person that was in our chat and tell him, I said, I really appreciate it. And I was hoping that it would have squashed everything that happened, but apparently not, because within a month or two after that, this creator started all over again. So I'm just leaving it at that. I don't like to talk bad about people, but just don't mention other creators' names. There's no reason for it, guys. None at all. Cindy, he didn't live in Evansdale. He lived, I can't give an exact amount of time he lived from Evansdale, but he lived in Iowa. He lived just north of the little northeast of Evansdale. I would have to pull all that information back up and give you the exact amount of distance between Evansdale and where he lived. He did live in Decatur, Illinois, which is about an hour and a half drive from Union, Illinois, where the two girls were murdered in the woods. So we've already shown all this information before, and I still can recollect what it said, but I do know that he did live in Iowa, he did live in Illinois. And a lot of people don't think that PB lives in Indiana anymore, and he does. He lives in Monticello now. So he lived in Florida, he lived in Monticello, he lived in Delphi. You're right, Molly. BG's probably getting a laugh about all this stuff that's going on all between the channels. And hiding in plain sight. He's not hiding in plain sight, guys. He's right there in front of us. We just don't know who it is. And to this day, and I'm not going to change my mind until LE or somebody proves me wrong, they altered the BG photo, and I do also believe they altered the video. And I say that because, once again, I'm a former radio broadcaster. I learned how to edit tapes, dub tapes, how to add things into tapes and things of that nature. So when I heard that audio, I immediately thought, damn, that thing's been altered big time. Lisa, there's all kinds of people that are claiming to be BG right now. It's ridiculous. Until you show me proof that you are BG, if you got a photo of what you did or something, you want to send it to my email, send it to my email, because once you do that, I'm turning your ass in. Because if you got any photos of the crime scene of any sorts that you should not have, I'm turning your ass in. Who is that? Miracle Hearts 2. It's called manipulation. You got to understand that LE will manipulate things to get information or whatever they can get. They'll put a twist on things to try to divert away from an individual to get him to come out. And I was watching my brother Sleuth the other day. It might have been Sleuth, I'm not really sure, with Bill on there, and they were talking about they might be trying to Ellie might be trying to make contact with BG with what some of the stuff they say in these pressers, trying to get him to talk. We just don't know what's going on. And that's why I keep saying every time we have a live that we need to pressure LE and upper government to get something done on this case. And I saw a comment the other night I was watching. Somebody said that New York City can take a picture of somebody that's 140 feet away and get a clear shot of his face. Now, why in the hell can't LE here in Indiana do that? Or is it they just don't want to spend the money? Because we all know if you send photographs to NASA, it's going to cost you a pretty penny to get it reviewed. There's no doubt about that. And if you guys watch True Crime Web, when Steve used to come on our show on a regular basis before he started his own channel, he did it because he's a retired forensic specialist, and he did everything he knew what to do with these photos. And basically, he said it himself. These photos have been altered. Hannibal Lecter. You got to look at it this way, Sweet Jules. What if they got a clear picture of BG and somebody recognized him as being a cop or something? That's going to make Carroll County look bad. One of their own committing a crime like this. But my honest opinion, I do think they know who it is. They just don't have the evidence to take to have them arrested yet. It's just my opinion. Yes, Molly, the fanny pack. That was added in there to cover up whatever he had in his hand. That's what we believe. I think they're trying to break a couple alibis, honestly. And like Marv said, that's why we haven't named a POI. We've got a handful of people that we're really looking close at, but we're not going to name them as POI unless we have the evidence to show that it's worth releasing. Let me see here. Bonnie, I'm listening. Thinking the girls were told and paid. Simple movie short. That's why there's no uncontrollable crying by the girls. Until we know what the rest is on that audio, we really can't determine what was said, or, everybody knows there's speculations that one of the girls said, is that creepy guy still behind us? And one of the other girls said, well, there's nowhere else to go once they got off the south end of the bridge. We just don't know that unless we hear it for ourselves. I mean, anybody could say that. It's speculation. Until I hear one of the family members come out and say, yes, it was said on the audio, I'm not going to predict or determine what was said on it at all. That's not my position. Well, you also got to understand, Lollipop, Carroll County has been known for corruption for many, 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 many years. And nobody's done anything about it. And it's to the point where they're thinking, well, shit, we can keep doing this all our lives and nothing's going to get done about it. It could be their way of thinking. You never know. I mean, if they're making money off this case without being solved, I mean, think about it. If they got money coming in because the case hasn't been solved, what do you think is going to happen if the case gets solved? All the money for that county is going to dry up. I would like to know, I've brought this up many times, and I believe that Becky has confirmed it. I have to go back and check that Libby did make a call or a text once she was out at the trails, but I'm not sure who it was to. So that's another thing that we need to find out. Yeah, Seldom. I watched 1111 Tarrant. She did some readings on Cody, Mike, and Kelsey. It's pretty interesting if you ever go back and look at them, because she just did these readings like a week or two ago, and there's some things that she came out of her reading that had been talked about months and months ago, even years ago, which was kind of pretty strange to me. So I thought that before. If they proved the ask sent payment to Libby, maybe it was to pay for a modeling shoot picture video. See, that's Miracle Hearts. There's one person that really comes to mind when you're talking about modeling photo shoots, and that's friend number one. Everybody knows by now, he got arrested down in Vegas for drugs at one point in time, and then apparently he got a weapons charge, and he's looking at some serious prison time. And you got to remember, his job is in photography. He has a business down in Vegas. It's called Sin City Photography. So when you said something about a modeling shoot, that's what instantly came to my mind was friend number one. Let's see. What question are you talking about? Okay. No, your question wasn't offensive at all. Seldom serious. It's kind of interesting when you watch these tarot people and they're just now starting off in the case, and they come up with stuff that's been talked about months or years ago. So yep, straight. You're right, Starla. They want to have their ducks in a row. They want the charges to be able to stick. You're correct. Like Marv said earlier, they got one shot at this, and they don't want to mess it up. And seldom serious if you're trolling. Stop it, please. We got a good group of people in here. We don't have no issues. We don't have no arguing or bickering going on in our channel, and we're going to keep it that way. Anybody want to come up on the panel? D, you still with us? I haven't seen you in here in a while. You ate that hamburger with your son and your ass is all passed out now, aren't you? Any other questions, people? We've been here about an hour and 15 minutes. I'm going to do a little quick review. Word got out, supposedly at the time, that Sean Harmon, creator on YouTube, had passed away either yesterday or the day before. And everybody should know me by now. I take information with a grain of salt unless I've got actual documentation that clarifies that the information is correct. And so I was Googling all day yesterday, and then it finally popped up on Google. Sean Harmon passed away. I've got an article that I showed earlier from a newspaper or something out of Louisville, Kentucky, announcing his death. There is no cause of death right now, and there is no arrangements been made yet. And once that information has been put out, I will make sure that everybody knows about when the services are, what their arrangements are planning to be. And then another thing that I wanted to touch back on before we get out of here is that a couple months ago, I've already discussed this once, but it's for the new people coming in, is that Mark got a weird phone call from some woman claiming to be an Uber driver in Carroll County. And she claims on the 13th or the 14th, I believe it was the 13th of February 2017, she picked up Garrett Kurtz and took him to a trailer right off of State Road 25. Well, what I did is I ran a background check on his father. Even though people were saying that his father, Mark, lived in Lafayette at the time, well, I'm here to tell you, Mark Kurtz had an address in Delphi, 10 minutes away from the Freedom Monon High Bridge walk, that it was registered in his name in the same day and the year. So, and this woman was claiming that there was tunnels and everything all through that area. So what I did is I went to Google and I started pulling up every map of Delphi when it came to railroad tunnels, any type of tunneling systems through Delphi, which we all know that they had mines and stuff back then, but those aren't tunnels. And we couldn't find anything. So I saw the other couple of creators talking about it on a live yesterday, and I was like, man, me and Mark just covered this a couple months ago, but we didn't do anything with it because we couldn't find any information on it. Well, of course, a couple of creators pulled this newspaper clipping, which I had already saw a couple months ago. So I wanted to confirm about what they are calling the interurban tunnel. So first, what I did today is I called the Carroll County Comment to see if they would have any archived newspaper articles or anything, reports or anything in regards to this tunnel. And the gentleman said, no, we have never heard of that. So he gave me a name and a phone number. He said, this is the guy you want to talk to. He's a Carroll County historian, and he works over at the Carroll County Historical Museum. So I called the museum, and sure enough, Mr. Mark Adams picked up the phone, and I had a 15, 20-minute conversation with him, and he clarified there are not any tunnels under the Monon High Bridge. There is no tunnels in Delphi whatsoever. He said what people are thinking could be that back in the day, before they made all the upgrades to the interstate and the roads all in that area, is that they had, underpass roads and trails and stuff under the railroads at that time. So just wanted to clarify one more time, there are no tunnels in Delphi, especially at the Monon High Bridge. There is no tunnel. So if anybody's got any information to debunk what I'm saying or to prove me wrong, let's see I'll put my email up here and you can send me the information and then I'll recant anything I've ever said. But until then, I spoke to somebody with knowledge of Delphi and he confirmed there was no tunnels. If you want his name, I'll give you his name. I'll give you his email address and I'll even give you the phone number. If you want to contact him yourself, you can. Like I said, I wouldn't come on here and say things like this unless I've spoke to somebody in regards to the matter. Hold on. Yeah, you talk about Boston. That's one thing that always stuck in my mind when it came to Garrett Kurtz. He talks about he don't know what he was doing that day. He don't even know where he was at that day. He was so messed up on meth. But he does recall waking up either at his mother's house or his grandmother's house and seeing what happened to the girls on the news. Now, answer this question for me. He straight up says he knows for a fact he didn't kill no girls, but just within sentences before that interview on Open Secrets, he said, I don't remember what I was doing that day. I was so messed up on meth. Well, if you don't remember what you were doing that day, how the hell do you know you didn't kill any girls? That's the only thing I got to say about him. Wilson's Cave, RJ Primary, is just north of Ron Logan's property, not too far from the historic museum. There's a old mine. There are old mines out there in Delphi. They used to mine in Delphi back in the day for all the minerals and stuff in the grounds and things of that nature. That's why all the mining was going on. But I can tell you for a fact that all the mines have been sealed off, shut down. Nobody can go in or anything with those mines anymore. Let's see. I see where it can be a confusion, just Pam, but there is a difference between underpasses and tunnels. I think we all know I'm not trying to be a smart ass or anything. I'm just saying I think we're all aware of what a tunnel is and what an underpass is. That's why I get so perturbed sometimes when I see people putting information out there that they really didn't research and look into to verify anything. And that's why I came on. I'm not trying to piss anybody off or to piss anybody's Wheaties, but when you're putting information out there that you're not absolutely correct on, I'm going to come right back on you and say, hey, I did the research on this. Like I said, if you want his name, his phone number, I'll give it to you. You guys can call him directly and ask him the same thing I did about the tunnel, supposed tunnel. And he directly said, no tunnels in Delphi. And I don't want to do that to people, but man, some people have to learn that you got to do extensive research before you put information out there. That's just how I am. I'm sorry, guys. You know, I'm a firm believer you better have your facts straight before you put it out there online. Anybody wants his name, phone number, email address, I'll put it in the chat box if you want it. I'm just one of them type of guys. I've got some journalism experience, marketing experience from being a radio broadcaster many years ago. So I pretty much know what I'm doing when it comes to research. And I know what places to go, places to call, people to talk to. Friend number one, Journey, is I'm just going to give his initials. It's DH. He lived right next door to Keegan and his dad. Starla, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. If he's going to sing like a bird, I wouldn't sing like if I was facing 55. If I'm sentenced to 55 years in prison, and there's a possibility if I know something and it will reduce some of my time in prison. Oh, you're damn right. I'm going to sing like a canary. You're damn right. I'm sure he probably knows that by now, unless there's something in his sentencing to where they're not allowing him to do that. It's the only thing I could think of. The interesting person to me right now is Gabe Ellis, considering he was arrested exactly the day after the girls' bodies were recovered, and he had a 15-year-old girl in his car, so we know he's a known pedophile. And this is what really upsets me with him is the fact is he got charged with child porn, CP, and all that garbage that goes along with it, and with drug dealing and manufacturing and everything. And I read over his court case, and they dismissed all the stuff with the children and everything and just got him on the drug case. And that's all he got time for. He's due to be released in the year 2030. So it's making me wonder if he's singing up there too. So but one thing is for sure that all these guys know each other in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Excuse me, it's late, guys. Sorry. It's either through drugs for the kiddie stuff or things in that nature. A lot of us have tied a lot of these people together in some form or fashion. So yeah, it's pretty bad that drug dealers are getting more time in jail than pedos. That's pretty sickening because I remember there was just a case about 4 or 5 months ago in Boone County here in Indiana where a music teacher got arrested for child solicitation and he got probation. That's all he got. No jail time. Just the jail time he got was sitting in jail waiting for his court hearing or for his plea agreement. He got probation. That's all he got. Makes me sick. It just makes me sick. Oh. Makes me want to puke. Sorry, guys. All right, guys. Well, we're going on an hour and a half, a couple more minutes. Who's that? Who are you talking about, Boston? Sweet Jules. Gabe Ellis is a well-known drug dealer, shot caller, pedo out of the area around Delphi. Trent Hodge, honestly, like I said earlier, when we had a fundraiser for Randy, so he was able to drive to Pennsylvania to see his mother because she was having surgery. One of his subscribers was in our chat, and apparently he donated some money to Randy, from my understanding. And that's when I thought in my head, you know what? That's pretty cool of him. Even though there's been some animosity between the channels for the last few months, I thought it was a pretty cool thing for him to do. So I sent a message back to the subscriber to let him know, hey, let him know that was a cool thing you did do. We much appreciate it. And I was thinking to myself, you know what? I reached out to let him know, hey, I'm willing to squash all this. And I thought it was all overdone myself. And sure enough, there it goes again. Just my name flowing out of his mouth for no reason when I haven't talked about the dude at all. And it's not cool for other creators to do that at all. And yes, I'm going to speak up, but I watched my tongue this time. I was just letting you know, that a lot of people are going to turn you in for this garbage you're pulling on your channel, dude. That's all I said to the guy. And all hell broke loose. So, and I told him, I said, you need to look what happened to Gross, because Gross was doing the same thing, and look what happened to his channel. So, I'd like to make peace with the dude. If you don't want to, that's on him. I don't know the dude personally. I don't agree with his content. Everybody's got their opinions on how they feel about things, and I'm straight up. I don't agree with any of his content, but that is his content. He puts out there what he wants and how he feels and what his opinions are. That's all on him. It has nothing to do with me. Well, let's see. Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it, Pam? See, I live in Johnson County, Indiana, and I used to live in Marion County. Well, about a year ago, Marion County, Indiana decided that they were not prosecuting anybody anymore for possession of marijuana. As long as it was 28 grams or under, they would not be prosecuted. So everybody's just waiting for it to be legalized here in the state of Indiana. And I keep telling people, I said, as long as Eli Lilly's home base is here in Indianapolis, Indiana, it will never be legalized in the state of Indiana. When you got the top pharmaceutical company in the world home base in Indianapolis, Indiana, they don't want to lose out on money. So see, that's the same way with me, Longshanks. I get along with anybody. I can be your best friend. But once you cross that line with me, there's no turning back. You know, there's things you do and say that's appropriate. And then again, there's things you do and say that is inappropriate. So, Jules, I've already been there, hon. Or, dude, I'm not even sure if you're a woman or a female. Sorry, but just by the name, it sounds like a female. Been there. Matter of fact, let me light up my roach here. I'll hit one for you. Gabe Ellis is in his 40s. That's all I can tell you. I would have to look it up, but I do know he's in his 40s. Yeah, I just saw that. I was reading. I get just Pam. I saw. I get this news thing on my phone, and I get alerts from it. And I saw that. And they're still trying to find 16 more people or something like that when it comes to a drug bust. It's hard to say why they haven't come out with a cause. I mean, they might just be sentimental to the family. That's how I see it. Which don't make any sense to me because according to Dave Erskine's text, pretty much lines up with what I was told that was in the autopsy, but in the autopsy was in medical terms, not in layman terms like Dave Erskine had put it in his text. The only way that I can describe what I was told that was in the autopsy report is you got to think of Nicole Brown Simpson when she was murdered. Same thing happened to Libby, in my own opinion. So, all right, guys. A couple more minutes and I'm going to get off here. Is there anything else anybody wants to talk about? Mark going to kick whose ass? Something serious? They don't know where I'm at. See? Look. Light it up. I'm not scared. She'll chew me out, but that's all right. I'm surprised she hadn't put nothing in the chat yet. Do I think the girls were strangled, Dave? From the information that I've gotten, and according to the texts by Dave Erskine, it doesn't sound like they were strangled at all. Exactly, Sweet Jules. It cause a false confession if they was to release that information. They're waiting for somebody to say something that nobody else knows, that only LE knows. And if this person knows specifics about the crime scene or the murders, then that's a person they're going to want to talk to because they shouldn't know that information. Yes, Miracle Hearts. I understand that her pictures are Nicole's are all over the internet, but they weren't at the time. Those didn't get released until well after the trial and all that stuff. You know how that stuff works. These people got these photos and they'll leak them to make money off of them and stuff like that, which I completely think is wrong. You know, but things like that have just happened, and you got greedy people out here that will do things like that. You know, it's just like our channel here. Yes, we have super stickers, we have super chats, we have a PayPal account, but a lot of people don't realize, and I've heard other creators bitching and complaining about it also. All they're just making money off the girls' names. Let me tell you something. The money that we do make, YouTube takes 30% of it, and the rest of it goes right back into our channel. Marv even was live with us one night and was even talking about she bought the new Canva Pro for our channel, which cost us $150. That's a lot of money just for an app. So just letting everybody know, we don't make a whole lot of money on this channel at all. And we're just making a point here that we're not out for money. It's not like that at all. You know, I'm on Social Security and VA disability. And honestly, I don't know how I survive, guys, but I do it. I make about $1,000 a month just between those two to survive, pay my rent, my bills, eat, and everything. You know, I do need money, but I'm not desperate for money because this is the way I was raised. I was raised, if you don't have the money for something, you do without, period, until you're able to afford it. Yeah, Molly, it was very disrespectful what they did to Nicole's family and Ron's family. And what really ticks me off is everybody knows that O.J. Simpson was involved in that murder. I mean, there's nothing you can't deny. He was involved in it somehow. And the bad thing about it is the families were rewarded over $30 million. I doubt they've even seen a penny of it. And they're not going to get a penny out of him. I mean, he made a damn book. If he was the killer, this is the way he would have done. He basically told you that he did it without literally coming out saying he did it. I'm waiting for him to be on his deathbed to give a confession. That's what I'm waiting for. Now, Lollipop, you also got to look at it this way. Indiana is 48th worst in the country in solving homicides. Why that is, I don't know. It's just something about Indiana. Yes, OJ's pension was protected. Yes, it was. Very much so. He gets $5,000 a month from the NFL for retirement pension. And plus whatever autograph signings he does and things of that nature. You know, that's so funny, Longshanks. You talk about the glove. If it don't fit, he must have quit. Everybody keeps talking about, well, of course that glove's not going to fit. All the blood on it, it dried and shrunk up the glove. I'm sorry to tell you, but leather stretches. I don't give a damn how wet it was and if it dried. Once you put it on your hands, it's going to stretch out. That glove clearly did not fit his hand. That's why I believe there's two people involved in this murder, in the murder of Nicole and Ron. OJ, yeah, he deserved for that prison time for that robbery. I mean, I don't give a damn if it was your stuff or it was whatever. You have no right to go into a hotel room and pistol whip whatever you did to claim something that was yours. If it was sold at an auction and somebody bought it, it's no longer yours, dude. So, and I got a joke for you guys. You know this new Bronco they came out with, right? You know what it's equipped with now? The new Broncos are equipped with OJ and AC. Believe that shit? Ha 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 ha. But all right, guys, I'm gonna wind it down. It is about 20 minutes to 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I really appreciate everybody coming out tonight. Just wanted to get on here. I was bored, and there was some information that I wanted to give out about Sean Harmon and the situation with the tunnels that's being talked about. I wanted to clarify that and get it out of the way. So if anybody has any more questions, our email is down at the bottom of the screen here. Feel free to send us anything you guys have or any questions you might have, and we'll try to respond to them as soon as possible. But if there's anything else, Frank Dangerfield. That's funny. All right. Well, guys, I'm going to call it for the night. Like I said, I appreciate everybody coming out. Love every one of you. My slogan is, peace out. One love, y'all. Good night.